Gotta get into my jam right there. I do not own the rights to the music, nor do I ever play the words. Welcome, welcome this Saturday evening, everyone. This is Chrissy Comments Conversation, and I am your host, Chrissy. As always, here on Chrissy Comments Conversation, we like to first salute all of our first responders out in the midst of this pandemic. As right now we're starting the summer, a lot of us are going outdoors and we're enjoying ourselves and we're having fun, but please, please be mindful. Continue to social distance, continue to keep on a mask to keep yourself safe because we don't know who's carrying it and who isn't. Also keep in mind that the first responders out here are risking their lives by helping to save yours. We also want to say Happy Pride Month. This is June, and we're all about loving everyone here on Chrissy Comments Conversation. Then I like to also let people know that there is always going to be a Chrissy's comment of the evening. And because tonight is all about your credit, my comment of this evening is don't ask to be lend money that you can't pay back. And don't lend money that you need back. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest of the evening, Miss Michelle Green. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Chrissy. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm so happy to have you here.
Great. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
I even put on my green. I don't know if it shows green, but I even put on a green top because I knew Miss Green was coming, and green is all about the money.
Awesome. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So, Michelle, please tell our viewers who you are.
Well, my name is Michelle Green, and I am a woman of God.
Amen.
I am a founder. I am a minister. I am a soon-to-be author. I am a life coach. So many different hats that I wear. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, you're a busy woman.
I am. I am.
And you continue to have time for your families and your friends.
Yes, it's all about that balance and harmony. Yes, ma'am.
That's great. So you're here this evening to talk about credit. And I want people to know a little bit of your background, if you can explain.
Sure. Actually, I started in credit because my mom ran up some credit cards in my name. And before I turned 18. And so when I was grown and decided that I wanted to go buy a house with 1.2 kids, pregnant with my second child, I went to the housing location, to the lender and tried to see if I could purchase a home. And the guy was like laughing me out of the office. And he was like, look, your credit is really jacked up. And I was like, what are you talking about? I have but like 3 items. I bought me like a furniture, a jewelry account, and 1 credit card. And that was all I had that I knew of. And basically what happened is, that led into me realizing after he showed me on my application that my credit had been ran, had like several different credit cards on it. And so I was like, well, that's not mine. So I don't know where it came from. So I had to figure out where it came from, found out that my mom had ran up some credit cards in my name. So I had to figure out how to get it fixed. Luckily, my mom had some books, some inspirational books, some financial books that she kept, and she was always into, doing things like that. So I found a book that taught about how to repair credit. I did everything that they said in the book. It's called The Financial Consumer from the 1990s.
Wow.
And so I read the book, mastered the book, and I started doing credit. I did my own credit in 3 months. I was able to go back and purchase the house from the same lender.
3 months.
Yes.
So let's get that first on the table, everyone. That's 90 days.
90 days.
Not 90 years, not 3 years.
Right.
Not 3 weeks. 3 months.
3
months.
That
is a big point that I want to just put out there as we continue to talk. 3 months, 90 days. That is amazing. So from once you got yourself together, what made you want to start a business?
Well, I over the years after that happened, I kind of just did like friends and family, I was just thinking, okay, well, it's something I do on the side. Then one day in 2006, I was at work at Verizon Wireless. I used to work there. And a friend of mine, actually someone that was on my same team, sat right beside me every day. She was like, anybody who knows how to fix credit? And I was like, yeah, give me $20.
Uh-oh, you went mute. You went mute.
I'm back.
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So you gave her $20. She gave you $20.
Yeah, she gave me $20, and then I fixed her credit, and she told her whole family, and so that was my ticket out off the job into entrepreneurship.
Wow. How many years have you been in your own business?
I actually have been a independent contractor in business in the financial area since 1992. So that would be almost 30 years for me.
30 years.
Yes.
That means that business works. Whenever I hear of a person that has their own business and they give me more than 5 years, then that means to me your business works. And I say this because in the first year you make nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The next 2 years you're trying to catch up on the loans, whatever it may be. The third and fourth year, you really, you're still trying to struggle and find your way, you keep it going. That fifth year, that's when it's going to either make or break you.
Yes.
And that's the same thing as a marriage. So get through your marriage the first 5 and get through your business the first 5 and you should be good to go.
Exactly.
So that's a long time. That's I was almost 9 years old.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. I knew nothing about credit, of course.
Well, like I said, I learned, over the years. I was basically just doing friends and family, and then I was like, okay, here's something that I can do, because I thought that everybody knew how to do what I did, and fortunately, everybody didn't know how to do everything that I was doing. So I just grew the business through word of mouth.
And it's because you took time to read. Now, I want to stress that as well. I had a previous guest we talked about literacy. Mm-hmm. So because of the power of literacy in reading, you were able to completely revamp your whole life and start a business.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times we tend to say, I want to start this. I want to do this. But you have to take the time to read and research what it is that you're trying to do.
So true. So true. Absolutely.
What is the reasoning? Let's first tell people the name of your business and why you chose that name.
Okay. The credit repair business is called Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, LLC. And we are located in the heart of Columbia, South Carolina, but we provide service throughout the U.S. We also have some international clients as well. Not necessarily saying that they live there now, but they used to live there. But yes, that's our company, Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Now, the reason why we chose the name is because when I first started the company, I went to the business office and how you get your license and everything. And I told the lady, I said, well, I'm just not feeling comfortable representing myself here. So let me go ahead and pray on this thing, and then I'll come back. So I took all my paperwork back. But on the way to an appointment the next day, I got a revelation through the word kingdom and builders, putting it together. And I was like, okay, God, if that represents you, great.
No, that's right.
So
that's right. If it represents God, it has to be good. It's no other way.
Exactly. So it just
I met you probably it's been about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was giving you information through a real estate agent, I believe, because I was in a similar situation. I wanted to get out here and purchase and had no idea what I needed to do. So I came to you and I came to your classes, came to your courses, continued to work with you. And lo and behold, here I am today, built from the ground up. And I want to say I continue to work on my credit and to keep it where it is, because it is not something that you can easily keep up, people. Credit is, it's hard.
It is. It
So
is.
with that being said, could you explain to people what credit really is?
So, credit is the promise that you are going to pay someone back after you borrow whatever you need to borrow from them in exchange for money. So, basically, if you need a car, you're going to exchange money for the car. If you need a house, you're going to exchange money for the house. But the bottom line of a any type of credit is always going to be based on trust. It's always going to be based on management. So, those are your two key things in the whole credit industry itself. If you cannot produce trust, if you cannot produce management, being a good manager of your money, being a good steward of your
Good
money,
story.
then it's
Yeah.
not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's why so many people fail, because, like you just said, most people think that, oh, well, I can just do a quick fix right quick, get me a couple of weeks and I'm good. Maybe I can just run a 30-day cycle and I'm okay. But they're not really learning anything about how to be trustworthy in the
Mhm.
industry of building up their credit. So they tend to make the same mistakes over and over again.
Hmm. Yeah, I find that, like I said, credit is hard,
Hmm.
and it takes one mistake. Uh-oh,
I'm
we lost her. Michelle? Well, she'll be back. For some reason, we lost connection. Up there she is.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Calling in. I'm sorry.
Oh, I get it all the time. I said a couple weeks ago, uh, every time on Wednesdays when the show is going on, for some reason my dad decides to call. And yes, Dad, I'm talking about you again. So I had to tell him. I said, your mind is telling you that I'm doing something. That's why you call me, but you can't remember exactly what it is. But anyway, so what I was explaining was, a lot of times we don't really understand credit, and as I said before, the credit is it's not easy. It takes one thing to completely destroy your whole credit. And it's not about, not, oh, I didn't buy anything, I didn't do anything. It's about what you didn't do.
Right.
And with that being said, I want you to explain to people, how does credit start?
So credit starts with you making an inquiry to any lender, any creditor, to say that, hey, I want to see if, because I don't have all the money right now, I want to see if I can put this on credit. I want to see if you are willing to lend me the amount of money that I need in exchange for, me paying you back in incremental payments.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the bottom line. So when it starts with the inquiry, there are 2 points that will be deducted from your credit score when you place an inquiry. Now, a lot of people don't understand that when you're signing a contract for credit, you're literally signing your life away.
Yeah.
Okay? You are, because you are saying that no matter what happens in your life, whether you lose a job, whether you get sick, whether you have death in your family, whether, whatever.
They don't care. They want their money back.
Exactly. You're saying that you agree to pay this money back to this creditor or lender, regardless of what interest rates they charge, regardless of their late fees or whatever that's included.
Mm-hmm.
Even if even if you get late and you're late and you decide that, okay, well, I had death in my family, so I don't want to pay that bill, or I can't pay that bill right now
Right.
because I
Right.
lost my job or whatever. But yeah, they don't care about that. So when you do sign up for credit, you need to make sure that you're in it for the long haul. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that you're just gonna pop out of immediately. That's not the concept at all.
I try to explain that same thing to young people. When you're going out here and you're like, I want a car, are you prepared to make payments on that vehicle for up to 5, maybe sometimes 4 to 5 years?
Evan.
Solid. Sometimes 7. Okay,
Yeah.
it depends on how good your credit is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you can get in a 7 year one where, yeah, that was 7 years. Now that I think about it, it was 7 long years. And again, they don't care if you lost a job, you got divorced, you don't have, here they tell you, okay, well, you got until this time and we're going to come get the car. And
Yep,
it's going to be on your credit and you're going to have to pay it back at some point.
absolutely.
Um, so you have to really understand how that works to our younger generation and to those that are not younger but haven't really experienced what credit is. Because, like I said, it was only 5 years ago that I really started to look at my credit. Growing up, I would often get credit card offers in the mail.
Hmm.
And I can remember my uncle, who was on previously on the show, the fireman. He would often say, "You don't need this," and would rip it up. And I would go, "But they said they're going to give me a credit card. They didn't give me a credit card." And he's go, "It's going to destroy your life. You're not ready." And
Exactly.
I always tell him, I thank him for that process because even though it didn't build me credit, which some people said it hurt me, it stopped me from completely destroying my credit. So it wasn't until I was ready and that I knew that I can financially hold my own that I started to build my own credit.
Hmm.
So, that depends on the individual, the journey, and whatever else happens in their life that makes that decision.
And I think
So
a lot of people, Chrissy, have that mindset. But the problem is not that credit cards are bad or that credit is bad. It's okay for you to have credit. I mean, in order for you to have a good score, your credit scores are up there with oxygen right now. So,
mhm,
you pretty much need credit in order to live these days.
mhm, yeah,
So I'm saying that, it's all about how you manage that credit. Do you know how to manage a credit card? Do you know how to manage a loan? Do you know how to manage a mortgage? That's the problem that we don't have knowledge of right
and
there.
that was his whole reasoning for ripping up the papers and or saying no, don't do it, because he knew that I was not. I mean, I was a kid just saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, I got money. They telling me I can have it." I'm in college, like, yay, credit cards, yay, which is
Not
where they get you.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Not a dime to my name to pay it back, but I'm getting credit. So my next question is, at what age should you start looking at your credit, or at what age? I guess my question is more of, and this is going to sound strange, but I know a lot of people are wondering this: are you born with your credit number? Like, does it just come out of thin air? Is it like your social security number?
Well, legally, a credit file is created with the social security number,
Oh,
but it's not really active until the person is 18.
until that social is ran to get things.
Correct. So people should definitely start looking at their credit when they turn 18 years old, or at least ordering their credit from annualcreditreport.com.
Hmm.
They can get a free credit report right now. Since COVID, you're able to get a credit report every single week,
Wow.
every 7 days from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion through annual credit report.
Oh, that's good to know. So every 7 days. Now don't
Mhm.
go crazy. It doesn't change every 7 days. Don't think I'm gonna look at Monday and then on Friday it's gonna be different. It doesn't work that way, people.
That's so true. So
you know. So with that, a lot of times there's myths with trying to repair your credit, and it scares people from reaching out to individuals like yourself to help them on that journey. Because
mhm.
so often people get burned. They pay 700 or more dollars, thousands of dollars,
Goodness.
for someone to build and fix their credit, and then they're still stuck with nothing. So what are some of those myths that are out there?
Well, I just want to say that there are a lot of scams out here, and they are increasing by the day, by the
Mhm,
hour.
mhm.
Um, there are a lot of tricks to repairing your credit as well. So you have sometimes the people who work internally at the credit bureaus who have a little side hustle with a few people, charge you like $1,500 to $5,000, and they'll temporarily remove the items from your credit for maybe 30 or 60 days, and then it goes right back to what it was before you repaired it. Because it's not really a repairing, it's just a temporary fix so that you can go buy what you want to buy.
Right.
So that's an example. Then we have people out here who are doing the fake social security numbers. so that they can get credit. That's also something that
That's
some
scary.
may or may not be aware of. The CPN number, the SCN number, is a alternative social security number usually used in the witness protection program, but people are out here using it so that they can gain credit. Now, you can't buy a house with it, you can't rent property with it, but you are able to get like credit cards and different things, vehicle loans and things like that. So that's also something that's available. But
Mm.
like I said, you want to get your credit repair and you want it to be a permanent. You don't want a quick fix. You don't want something that's going to fall back into the same cycle as it was before you even started. And it is a
I
process.
want I want to make a point to explain to people that just because you get your credit score where you need it, it doesn't stay that way if you don't do anything else to keep it there. Oftentimes people will say, well, I did what I was supposed to do. Why isn't it moving? Well, you have to follow all of the rules, else it
Yes.
won't move.
Yes, it's one of the main things that we tell our clientele is that if you are trying to maintain your credit, if you're leaving our program or if you're just starting our program, follow the instructions that we give you. There's a lot of advice out there, but we've been doing this when credit repair was only $5,000 a year.
Mm,
Okay, that was the actual income for a
wow.
business in credit repair a year,
That's
not
because you was telling people to give you $20.
right. But nowadays, it's a very lucrative industry,
Yeah.
but not everybody has the right advice for your specific credit. So please be aware that, not all advice is good for you. And I'll say that because credit is actually based on three levels: lower class, middle class, and upper class. So if you're thinking about, okay, well, I'm just going to go to this top name brand company, I'm going to go ahead and get me a Chase card or whoever, American Express, City. Guess what? If you're on a lower level with your credit scores, with your credit, you're not going to get approved
That's
because
right.
you're not on an upper class credit level. So
They
with
don't know you. They're not giving you
they
fifty
don't know you.
thousand dollars and hoping that you pay it back. They don't know you. They have to build a relationship. You got to date credit, credit, before you can marry it.
And even in the marriage, of credit, it takes work. It
Yeah.
takes consistency and managing it properly. And that's where a lot of people fall off because, the mindset is that no, we don't want to be in debt. And a lot of people are following the rules of the upper class level of people who can afford not to be in debt. But if you're on a lower class level, that's not your level to start out on. You should
So
not be.
here's the key to that, everyone. Stay in your lane. We all have a lane. We all wish that we can pay $23.8 million and take a trip to the moon. But that is just not where we are right now. Stay
Exactly.
in your lane. If your trip can only get you to Florida and not the moon, then go to Florida and stop trying to get to the moon. And just using this little analogy because oftentimes people will go, well, I want, credit to $20,000.
Mm,
Well, I don't mean any harm, but you only make 30 a year. So how are you gonna pay that back? Make it make sense.
right. Say it. Not
I am very, very passionate about talking about credit business because I've been there. I've
Mhm.
been there when the doors were closed and I was told, no, you can't have it. And when it was said to me, I was like, no, nobody's telling me no. And that feeling of being told that you can't do something for me, it gave me the drive to be told I can do whatever I want. Now I'm not at that level that I can go to the moon, but I'm at that level where I have a home and I'm stable for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm at
Right.
that level. And I learned to stay in my lane.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's what I was referring to earlier. A lot of people think that, oh, well, if I have like one or two accounts on my credit, I'm good.
Mhm.
I'm paying my bills on time, but I'm not really using my credit card, for example. Those aren't things that's actually a no-no in the credit card industry to not use your card because your card is based on utilization. And not only that, if I'm a creditor and I want to give you $200,000 or even $50,000, what is it that I would measure that credit against if you only have two accounts that are active and showing you paid as agreed?
So is that why you get constant, once you get one or two cards, you get like a dozen of them thrown your way?
Yes, because they're giving you, it's kind of like the concept of crawling before you walk. So they give you a little bit to see how well you do. And if you do well, then they'll give you more. But if you don't do well with the little, then they're not going to give you much because you can't handle it.
Well, how is it that you can still get yourself, people still get themselves into debt because these credit card companies are going here, 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 here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to be in debt, but they're saying that I'm okay. So I guess it's that same rule of don't go outside, know your limits.
Yeah, well, one of the major things that we try to teach our clients and, our peers and whatnot is when you're looking at a credit card, you just want to manage whatever. If they give you $1,000, why are you using $999?
Right.
I mean, for real, like,
right.
Why are you using all of the money that they offer you? Because that is not good management.
And then you have to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back on time, my gosh, the interest on top of it.
Not only on time, Chrissy, but we're talking about you're just making the minimum monthly payment? No. So if you want to show a creditor that you're trustworthy, you need to show more than just the minimum payment, and you need to show more than just one payment a month.
Okay. So for example, if you have a credit card that is $500 limit, what is the amount that you should use every month?
You should use less than 30% of the credit limit. So if it's $500, that's $150 max that you should ever put on the card. The card is not there for emergency purposes. And it is not there for you to just, let it sit around and not just collect this. It's not there for that. Okay. So you definitely want to use the card because, like I said before, utilization can give you quite a bit of points. And that's the whole purpose of a credit card or a department store card.
Now I'm going to be completely transparent. Having a $500 credit card limit, that was $300 going out the door for me. But because you have to be responsible. So even if I went and did $300, I didn't take 3 years to pay it back. I didn't give them just $25 a month. That makes no sense. You pay off what you use, get it back down to that 150, that limit that you're supposed to be at, so that you're still safe. So I get it. Sometimes it's easy to use the credit, but if you're going to go over that 30%, this is just my suggestion. I'm not a credit repair person. Let's be clear. Put that disclaimer out there. But in my experience of how I've done some of my credit is I've paid back that larger sum that I've used to bring it back down to that place that I should be. Now, am I right or wrong? Just let me know.
Partially. I definitely do not recommend charging over the 30% of the credit limit, only because on the credit reports, there is a section that tells the creditor how much you've gone over the 30% every single 30 days. So even though you're thinking in your mind, I'm just go ahead and pay this money back real quick. I charged it over my 150, so I ain't got to worry about it because I know I'm going to have that next week and I'm going to put it back on my card. It's still recorded at the credit
that you spent that money.
So it's still telling the creditor that you're mismanaging your money, even though you paid it back. And you paid it back quickly.
They don't care.
But they care because everything that you're doing with your money, your credit, they are tracking it. Everything in track now.
That's right. And I had to use that as an example because there's people out there that do it all the time. I mean, life happens, things happen. We come across hard times, especially in this day that we're in right now. There's a lot of hard times for everyone.
Yes.
And it's going to be hard to climb back out of this, but you can do it. Everyone can do it. I was explaining to my mom earlier today. She says to me, "You're so smart," and I said, "Mom, I am average. I can do what anybody else can do what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is focus. I haven't done anything extraordinary. I haven't made a spaceship to go to the moon. I just followed rules, and anyone can do that. That chooses to. It's a choice. How you live your life, how you build your credit, that is a choice.
It is.
If you choose not to have credit, if you choose not to own a home or start a business, it's not for everybody. If you're okay with not having credit cards, then be okay. But if you want to do more, you're going to have to get into credit. That's just the way that this life is made for us.
And one thing I want to add to that is whenever you have a credit card, the credit card should be replaced for your debit card. So, or with your debit card. So, whatever you're doing with your cash or your debit card, if you replace that and put the monies or put your cell phone, or for example, or you put your water bill, your light bill on the card, if you have enough at 30% to
That's
not
right.
over, then that's the real way to actually utilize your credit card the best. Is
Because you're going to pay those bills anyway.
you're going to pay that anyway. So you're not spending any extra money and you are consistently paying that on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed.
Now,
So that's my thing about the credit cards. Don't use the credit card for an emergency purpose. Use it to replace whatever you're using cash or your debit card with.
okay. Because you really should have an emergency savings.
Oh, yeah.
I told you I went to her class.
3 is
You
a
really should have an emergency savings, not
yes.
the cards. You should have savings. And that is something that is not always taught, but you have to learn as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Credit in general is something that is not taught in our school systems. And that's a really, really disadvantage to especially our Black and Brown communities.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember being taught how to write a check, but not how to quite balance my checkbook.
Exactly.
And that's a problem. You're teaching kids how to give away money, but you're not teaching them how to keep money.
Ooh,
That's a dangerous, dangerous slope.
it is. And there's
So,
3 different kinds of savings. And while you're on the subject matter, we should have an emergency fund. We should have a short-term fund, which is covering 1 to 5 years. And we should have a long-term fund that's going to be 10 plus years or longer.
and
So,
it's obtainable. We often think I can't do all that kind of saving. Um, if you are truly focused at what you want, you can do anything you put your mind to.
yeah, start at
Yeah.
1%.
Start at $10.
Yeah, $10, $25 a month, $20. You blow that on a bag of chips at the store, you know?
You definitely can't get gas for $20 anymore. But you can put it in your savings.
But make sure it's at a place where you can't see it, because if you see it, it's going to be spent.
I mean, exactly, because even especially in our community, we spend thousands of dollars daily,
Yes.
daily, just to get braids,
Mm,
almost $200. Now,
mm.
we easily can take that $200 and spread it out into those three main savings accounts that you just explained. Imagine where you would be.
Yes. Because think about it. What do we normally do when we retire? And why are we retiring?
That's right. That's right.
I checked, God didn't have anybody retiring.
No, he didn't.
We
You worked and that was it.
Yes, as long as you're there's something.
That is a blessing.
But the reason why people are retiring and sitting on the front porch is because they don't have the money to go with it.
Yeah.
They don't have the savings that was supposed to be set aside when they were making those millions. Yeah, the average person has at least made $1 million a couple of
In their
times.
lifetime. Yeah. Isn't that something? You don't even really think about how much you've made in a lifetime and what you could have would have done until you're at that point where you're looking back on your life and you've
Exactly.
made all those decisions. But it's a mindset that you have to reach of maturity, of financial knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I stress financial knowledge because, again, this is not something that has been taught to our community. And I find that the generations now are learning so much far beyond my generation, yours, and
Yeah.
our parents, grandparents before, that they have an advantage,
Mm-hmm.
bigger advantage of understanding credit and wealth. I wanted to ask one question that really bugs me when it comes to credit.
Okay.
Why are medical bills such an issue?
Because most of the time when we go to the doctor, or especially if we go to the hospital, most of us don't know that the medical bills are broken down by the person that you see or that waits on you. So
Hmm.
if you go into the emergency room and you're sitting in the lobby, that is a separate fee from when they call you back. And the triage department takes your blood pressure, gets your weight, and all of that stuff. So those are two separate charges. In addition to the charge for whatever doctor you're going to see, and the diagnosis is a separate fee from the doctor actually seeing you. So you got like 10 different fees by the time you leave the doctor's office or by the time you leave the emergency room, and you're clueless because they normally don't send out a bill to you or keep you up to date on the separate charges for each department.
Well, one thing I do notice now, I haven't been to the emergency room in some years, thank God. But they are now saying, hey, your insurance says you have a copay. So are you ready to pay that copay today?
Right.
I mean, you could be in there, I can't, when you got that copay, we'll
Exactly.
take it now. So it's a shame that we live in a society where healthcare is credit based.
Yes.
um, we get the service that we qualify for, and
Mm-hmm.
that is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous.
Honestly, should
Um,
be free. I
it
mean,
should be. It
it's
should be.
free.
It should be. It really should. It's no reason. I mean, I always say, well, I mean, these hospitals are going to write this stuff off anyway. Why am I being held accountable for this? This is not fair.
Yeah.
They make
Yeah.
millions, millions from so many other things, all of the drugs. And, that's just another conversation for another day. But that is one of the sticklers that it's a show that I used to watch that grinds my gears when it comes to credit. Like, what the heck? So I went in because I coughed. Why is this on my credit report?
Yes. So it takes so many days for it to hit your credit. And most people don't realize you got 6 months, 180 days before they charge that account off. And
Mm-hmm.
charge off write off does not mean that you don't owe the debt anymore. It's actually a technical term for the business owner. As a business owner, you get to do your taxes. And when you do your taxes, there's a profit and loss statement. So you calculate all of your losses versus whatever profits you made. That's why they call it a profit and loss statement, Schedule C
Okay.
or Schedule K. And so basically, that's where the word charge off, write off comes from.
Hmm.
And so people think that the charge off write off means that they don't owe the debt anymore as the consumer, but you signed a contract, and that contract says that you agree to pay this debt, even if they hire another company to represent this debt. So you're
And let me
never
tell you, they will transfer your debt to that company and you'll get a whole new 1-800 number calling your house.
Not only that, they're going to add interest to that debt that you had. So if you started out with $500, now you had 1,000 or maybe even 1,500.
So, with that being said, do you think it's a good idea to schedule payment arrangements when you have these kind of issues just to keep it from hitting your credit?
The best thing to do is to try to prevent the account from going into charge off. So if you know you got 6 months, go ahead and contact the doctor's office or whoever it is that you have the medical debt for, or any other creditor for that matter. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's a vehicle loan or a personal loan, furniture, appliance bill, department stores, credit cards. If you can wait, if you can catch them before the 180-day mark, then you're preventing the account from going to charge off, and you're saving yourself about 75 points from being deducted from your credit score.
75 points?
75. 75.
That's not good. You know how long it takes to get to 675? That is not good, people. Be very, very careful and mindful of that. A lot of times these hospitals, these doctor offices, they do offer sliding scales and different options for you to be able to pay it off so that it does not hit your credit.
Right.
I know that because I worked in a doctor's office at some point in my life. I've had many hats. But that's just one tidbit. Now, my next question goes more into the credit and how you build it. Now, I often hear a lot of young people, like you were explaining earlier, my parent messed up my credit.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible that a kid can get their credit messed up? I know the answer, but for those that don't, because I'm sure it's somebody out there, I'll never understand how kids have bad credit. So can you explain that?
So what happened to me is that while I was a teenager, my mom decided, I mean, rough times hit. I don't have any bad issues with my mom now. So I just want to put that out there. I love my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, mom. But what happens is that even though the file is not necessarily active before you turn 18, it still is the opportunity for a clean slate of credit to be established. So
Okay.
what tends to happen is if the parent or whoever decides that they want to go ahead and try to get something in the child's name, it usually starts with like a utility or so. Maybe the lights are in the child's name. Maybe we'll put the phone, used to be the house phone, in the
It used to be
child,
the house phone. Yeah.
the house phone. So things like that. So every piece of data that you're entering is going to be reported to the credit bureaus eventually. So people are always like, okay, well, I filled out a sweepstakes order, or I filled out a lottery ticket or something. I put the wrong name on there, just out of fun. But that kind of data is sent to the credit bureaus. Even a Girl Scout cookie order, if you put your data somewhere, if it's on the internet, if you just making up some stuff and maybe you put your roommate there, or your spouse or a friend, and you just trying to be funny, okay, well, if they win, I just set them up good, happy with your address or your phone number. That's going to be something
That's
that's
going to be
reported
the
to the credit
information.
bureau.
So, number one, people, don't use your friend's information without their permission.
Mm-mm.
Don't add their address to anything. These are pings
Mm-hmm.
for people to track. Don't say, I'm just going to put this person's name down as a point of contact. Make sure you get permission, because you are using someone's personal information and you don't know in which way that can harm them. And you don't know if they're hiding from something. Let's be honest. We got some people that don't want to be found.
Yes.
I have a phone number right now that belongs to my kid, and whoever had the number before her, my God, we get calls repeatedly on bills that are owed to this number. And
Yep.
she obviously didn't want to be found because none of the bill collectors have the number.
Yeah, so it's things like that that tend to happen, and that's really where it starts. If you go and apply for something and it's a utility, utilities are not the same as debt items. So debts are the things that show up on your credit. Those are the things that you have agreed through a contract agreement to pay a creditor back over a certain term. The
Mm-hmm.
utilities are recyclable items. So these are things that you will pay for the rest of your life. You have to have lights no matter where you move. You have to
That's
have
right.
water. You have to have sewage. You have to have what? Electricity. I mean, not electricity. You have to have like a cell phone.
Yeah.
All of those are just basic living expenses, and those are not the same things as the things that go on your credit. Now they can
Yeah.
go.
Even internet is a basic living
Yes,
um,
internet.
item, and they're trying to make sure that everyone has access to it, like electric and water, because it is necessary now. And we found that out during this year of COVID, that is so many people that live in rural areas that don't have access to the basic necessities to live
Mhm.
everyday life, and it's just not fair.
It's not.
Mhm. Now, I can go on and on and on about credit. I really can. But there is another part of um, Kingdom Builders, and our, it's not just your credit history, but it's also the business side. Could you explain for people the business side of Kingdom Builders?
Yeah, so two separate companies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have the personal credit, which we provide services for anyone throughout the US or internationally for credit repair. And in that program, we also offer a budget class. We offer budgeting 101. And we also help you to establish new credit lines. So we do all of that for you in the credit repair process. That is all included at a flat rate altogether. All right, so that's the credit repair part. And then we also, in 2017, started a entrepreneurial business type of thing where I had a lot of people who wanted to go in business for themselves back in 2017. And I had a lot of people that were coming to me asking me, okay, how did you start your business? Like, what kind of things do you encounter as an entrepreneur? Like, what is it that they need to look out for in starting their companies? And some people were already established, but they were just asking maybe about HR or taxes or, whatever an entrepreneur needs in order to be a successful business. And so the idea came in 2017, and we used to do these courses in person, but we decided last year during COVID to go virtual. And we created a business university for the elite entrepreneur. So we have a new business called Kingdom Builders Business University. Hey, KBBU. And in the business university, we have four main courses, and they are business. You will learn business setup. We will actually walk the new entrepreneur or the old entrepreneur through whatever or however they have set up their companies. Let me just give you a little bit about that first. Yes. So the business setup, a lot of people are out here and they're trying to figure out, well, why I can't get any of this SBA money, right? Well, are you set up as a professional business? Is your business located at your residence? Do you have a business phone number? Are you using a Google Voice or your cell phone number? Do you have a business address? Like what
PO box? Even if it's a PO box, if that's where your business is, you can use that, correct?
No, you cannot use
a
PO box. You can use the UPS store, but you cannot use a PO box as a professional location because
you can't just make up businesses and get PO boxes. That's not a business address. That is a PO box. Yeah. I know this because oftentimes when doing my 9 to 5, we are often told, please do not mail certain items to PO boxes because they just don't, they're not useful.
Exactly. And even down to the email, they are looking at specific details about your company to see if you are set up as a mom and pop shop or if you are a professional organization. And please, y'all, like, don't do sole proprietorship. If you're saying that you are a business, don't do sole proprietorship. At least on the basic level, be an LLC. So we teach you all of these aspects of how to set up your business properly. We go through the taxes, we go through HR, administration, security, like your insurance, your contracts. We pretty much teach everything in the business setup that you can think of. Like, it's a one-stop shop for real.
How long is the class, the courses of
the course are 6 months, so 24 weeks, and we do have graduation or participation ceremonies.
That's awesome.
Yes, and so we also do business credit. So there are other creditors out there that would allow business to business transactions to be done. So that means that you don't have to use SBA only to gain business credit. And we give our entrepreneurs that are part of that course that information. So we have some people in our class right now that just got capital and they are
I
ecstatic. So,
saw that. Congratulations.
yes, congratulations to all of them. They are doing superbly well. So I am so happy for them. But yes, we do the business credit. So we teach you about how credit works, and what better person to teach about credit than on the personal credit side, someone that's been in that field for 30 years.
Hey, I always tell people you can't learn to buy a home from someone that's never owned a home.
Say it, say it.
You know, you just can't expect to get that kind of information. You can't talk to people about being married if they've never been able to keep a relationship. It's the same concept.
Yes.
But it's so much information
Yes.
that this industry in the credit realm
Mm-hmm.
can give you, but you have to be willing to sit down and really listen. And one thing I want to explain when I came to you that really struck a chord with me is the first thing that Michelle said to me was, "Do you pay your tithes?" I will never forget that. I will never forget that.
Yes.
And being a PK, preacher's kid, I looked at her and I was like, "Yeah, but I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do at that time." And I will be honest. And
Mhm.
she told me, "I can't help you until you do what you're supposed to do by God."
That's what I
That's
mean.
what she said. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, I should be ashamed of myself."
But I mean, it's just that we just haven't been taught. That's something that we also include, not just on the personal credit side with our budget, but we also do that in our business course. The third course that we teach is business management, which is where we are right now with the current semester course students.
Mhm.
And we do go over, why do you need to pay your tithe? It's not just about your belief system, but there are people in the financial industry who have learned a concept and apply it and don't even know who God is.
Let me tell you
But
something. The
woo,
one person I will always remember that talks about paying their tithes is LL Cool J.
okay,
I am so serious. He is serious about them tithes.
yes, yes,
You
because
know,
the concept,
so take a note from him.
it is a concept of paying your taxes in a invisible realm. And if you expect to be blessed, then why are you not paying it? But
You
even
know
on
what?
that note,
Blessings are credits as well. You
yeah,
got to put something in to get something out. You know
hello,
what I mean?
hello.
You
And there
can't
are
just say, "Hey, here I am, give it to me." What have you done to that you'd even deserve it? That's another conversation for another day.
But seriously, there are three principles to tithing, and a lot of people have no clue. They just think, oh, well, I was brought up in church, so I'm supposed to pay my tithe. I can't really do that right now. That was one of the first financial aspects that I learned in the financial industry.
And
Is
that is something that you
important.
teach.
It is.
Yes.
And I break that down and I explain the three principles and how why people should be doing it. It's
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
just a God concept, but there are details to it that have been left out. So if you are tithing, get with us. We'll be happy to teach you. If you want to come in the course, it will be included in throughout anything that we.
Yes, it will.
And the last course, Chrissy, that we have in the KBBU course is marketing, business marketing. So marketing is where you got a lot of entrepreneurs that are not real savvy at social media. Maybe they
Mm.
don't know how to get their website up and running. We network with people who do the networks at a discounted rate. Hey, KJ Johnson out there. Y'all hit up
Awesome.
KJ. Y'all need a website because he is really good.
That's awesome.
Also, we have like people who do logos, the flyers, whatever you need.
To
Basically,
really help your business succeed.
the
And
seed.
that's oftentimes we're trying to do it as I am right now, doing
Mm-hmm.
it alone. And at some point you need that help.
Yes,
You need someone else to come in and help to get your business where it needs to be.
because
You know, I
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I really have enjoyed. We're getting close to our time because again, I can go all
Yeah,
night about credit, and I need to have you back because we got to dig in deeper on this. But
sure.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And, I just want to tell viewers, please, please, please make sure that you find Michelle Green on any of your social media areas. And Michelle, please tell people where they can find you.
Yes, they can go to our credit repair website. Is kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com. And our business website is kbbullc.com. So if you're interested in joining the university, you can also find us on Facebook at KB. That's just KB for Kingdom Builders. And then last name will be CR. And then you can be invited into the business community. So we have a community of like 400 people or more. And that's growing every day. Like that's really growing every single day. So they can
because it's necessary. It is really, really necessary.
So many people are entrepreneurs right now, or either thinking about it. They don't want to go to the job anymore. They are tired of working for someone else. So that's what we created this course for, this whole community of entrepreneurs. And we have a lot of fun. We really do.
That's awesome.
But we're on Instagram at KBCR40. We're on Twitter and we're on LinkedIn, with the same information.
And do remember, you can also find, the Kingdom Builders on my Facebook page, either my personal or Chrissy Comments, and you can follow them from there. This interview, along with others, is going to be on YouTube after tonight. You'll be able to replay, stop it, pause it, reverse it, whatever you need to do to get the information that you need to get your credit where it needs to be to take the next step in your life. This again has been like a tremendous treat for me because I suck this type of information up. Again, I can go on and on and on. Yes. This is the longest interview I've done, and it's because I'm so passionate about it. I want to have you back on. Also, please make sure you tune in for some of her own videos and tidbits once you start to follow Michelle's page. Oh. I really thank you again.
No, thank you.
Awesome.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for having me on.
Thank you. And we will talk again soon.
Bye. Will do.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. This is Chrissy Comments Conversation, and this was your Saturday night edition. We talked about how you can get your credit and where to rebuild it to get to where you need to be. Michelle Green has been a delight. And as always, continue to have conversations that are meaningful, because if they don't mean anything, you're just talking. See you next time, hopefully next week. Stay blessed, stay safe, and enjoy life. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.